And we're live. There we go. What is there to talk about today? There's a lot to get into. I feel like dog shit, so we'll see how long this goes. How's everyone doing? It's a Wednesday night, February the 12th. Want to thank our sponsors as always, Kalshi and Veebs. Go to kalshi.com/Tim Young, and of course, veebsapp.com to go get the Veebs app. Not going to get too deep into it today because I feel like I'm going to throw up. So it'll be a good time. Let's see how far we can get into this. Al's behind the camera again. Say hi, Al.
Hello.
And I'm saying like, oh, did you know that I'm live on our YouTube channel? When I go live with this, apparently the old title, I don't even know what this is. The old title is live on YouTube. Has nothing to do with the current topic. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Is that all of our recent videos?
I have no idea.
Clearly, we don't care about the YouTube.
I don't care about YouTube at all. I don't care about YouTube at all. It's something about USAID over on YouTube now. It says I'm live with some USAID thing. That doesn't make any sense. Like, wouldn't the stream title be exactly what I title it here?
You would think that, but
I don't know. Let me go over to my my X, speaking of, and pin it to my profile. If you guys are having a good time, say hello in the chat. And let's see here. We got to replace the last one. The Don Buckingham interview was really good the other day, I thought.
Yeah.
45 minutes with the land commissioner. It's a great time.
Yeah, and Sarah and EJ were good as well.
Oh,
clips up from both of those.
Yeah.
On Tim's page.
I think you spelled Marxist wrong. Yeah, that's true. Did you know how long? Have you seen how long the Democrats have been claiming there's a what's going on? Hello in the chat.
Hello, chat.
Have you seen the video that I posted about the Democrats claiming it's been a constitutional crisis under Trump since 2017? It's literally their same thing that they've been saying forever. Here's MRC Newsbusters, by the way. Put this together. God bless them. They go through all the clips so that we don't have to, and then I watch them and bring them to you. And so here's the Media Research Center. This is a supercut of a minute and a half of Democrats claiming it's a constitutional crisis since 2017. So literally since the first time Donald Trump got into office and his first appointees and appointments, they've been claiming that there is a constitutional crisis. Let's get this blown up here in a manner that you can see it. Here we go.
We might be on the path to a constitutional crisis.
We will ask two experts about whether or not this is a constitutional crisis.
We've never faced quite the constitutional crisis that we do right now.
They are fomenting a constitutional crisis.
Yes. Are we staring down the barrel of a constitutional crisis?
We're now into 2018.
This is an existential constitutional crisis.
A constitutional crisis, possibly.
The constitutional crisis alarm bells are ringing. But is anybody listening?
We're now like one subway
2019
stop from a real constitutional crisis.
What do they even know what a constitutional crisis is? I mean, here we are, like I'm 30 seconds into this video. It's a minute and a half. Do they even know? Have they read the Constitution to know what a constitutional crisis is? Do they have any idea what they're talking about when they say that there's a constitutional crisis? Like, do they have any grounds? Like, what part of the Constitution has been violated by Donald Trump? He has the right to audit the federal government. He has the right to find fraud, waste, and abuse and get it out. That's why we hired him. That's what every president should want to do. So what is this constitutional crisis that they're claiming that they have? Here we go.
We are in effect, a constitutional crisis.
Constitutional crisis. We're hearing it over and over again.
Nancy Pelosi's already said that Donald Trump is unfit for office. She said that he belongs in prison. She says that we're in a constitutional crisis. If that's not enough to begin an impeachment inquiry, then what on earth is?
Warnings of an impending constitutional crisis.
So, like, what part of the Constitution has Donald Trump violated that it's a constitutional crisis? Never does the barking, talking point liberal media ever go into what exactly he's violated in the Constitution that has caused a constitutional crisis.
Rip through the.
By the way, in this one, Trump's escalating attacks on election prompt fears of constitutional crisis. This is pre-2020 election. Remember, pre-2020 election, the Democrats said that Donald Trump was going to steal the election up until he lost, if you say he lost, or Joe Biden won that election. And then from that point forward, they said it was the freest and fairest election ever.
the nation's capital.
There are experts who are saying this is a constitutional crisis.
What is that guy? What is that? He's on some lists.
We are at a dangerous time in our history, a constitutional crisis that probably is the most severe moment since the Civil War.
Most severe moment since the Civil War.
Warnings of a constitutional crisis just weeks into Trump's second term.
The stage is set for a constitutional crisis.
Could this signal the start of a constitutional crisis?
Legal experts say our country could be headed toward a constitutional crisis.
They're calling this a constitutional crisis.
This is a constitutional crisis.
I am unapologetic in suggesting we are in a constitutional crisis right now.
Are we already in a constitutional crisis?
Those two words, right? Constitutional crisis.
Nobody knows what the fuck that means. None of these people know what the fuck constitutional crisis means. That just means they don't like Trump. That's all that means. There is literally no... I don't even know. We've been in a constitutional crisis since Obama, then Biden. Literally. Mockingbird media. They all say the exact same thing over and over again. One of them starts with constitutional crisis, and then suddenly there's a massive constitutional crisis. They have no idea. What part of the Constitution has Donald Trump violated, and what has caused this constitutional crisis? Because, again, investigating and auditing the federal government, looking into what is fraud, waste, and abuse to eliminate it and save the taxpayers' money is not a constitutional crisis. I think Democrats are confusing constitutional crisis with the end of their kickback scheme through USAID. That's what's happening here, because it doesn't make sense otherwise. Constitutional crisis. I am in a constitutional crisis. Well, what does that mean? Spell it. Nobody challenges them at all. No member of the media challenges them whatsoever when they say it's a constitutional crisis. Oh, what does that mean? What part of the Constitution has been violated that we're in crisis? Can you answer that? We're in a constitutional crisis. That's right, constitutional crisis. It's just the talking point. And Elon, I have to dig it up, but I won't dig it up right here. But Elon posted that everyone was literally tweeting the exact same thing. That where all these leftists were taking the talking point. The talking point went out from the DNC. It's a constitutional crisis. Everyone went and said it. They started it before, and then every lunatic on every media show from MSNBC to CNN started screeching constitutional crisis. Makes no sense. Literally makes no sense. It's a constitutional crisis. That's right. It's a constitutional crisis. What is the... Okay. Please point out exactly what part of the Constitution Donald Trump has violated. He's also the head of the executive branch. He's in charge of... What was that? Al, is that your computer?
Sorry, I must have hit that when I was typing.
He's in charge of the executive branch. So, as the person in charge of the executive branch, you can audit the executive branch. All of these organizations, just because the federal bureaucracy has run crazy over the past couple of decades, doesn't mean that suddenly the president can't audit his own government. The media will run with it, and now it will become word salad of the day. It is absolutely word salad of the day. And every Democrat was tweeting about it. The constitutional crisis. True. Joe Biden violated the Constitution. He put all other countries above our own. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. If you want to hit the retweet button, that'd be a big help. Go hit the retweet button so that people can see the show. Hope that we can get a good audience with us tonight, hanging out. It's a great Wednesday in the middle of this. Oh my God, the constitutional crisis. But in the middle of that, of course, Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed. We can get to that in a bit, but I want to get to this story. Get rid of this. Oh shit. Here we go, and over to this. So this is a story that I find intriguing. Worcester, Massachusetts has voted to become a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse people. There is a 5-minute video of this. Looks like the Temu knockoff of Ronald McDonald came to speak about you can't tell. I don't listen. I don't care what you identify as. I really don't. But when you start infringing on other people's rights with your identity, or say, for instance, your identity is dressing like a complete clown, I have no respect for you. I mean, we're going to go through this video. I have not watched this. I wanted to have a fresh reaction for everybody when I watch this because I know how bad this is going to get. But this person, zoom in. I'm sorry. I just wanted a grande milk latte, 2% milk latte. I don't need your, I mean, seriously. This is not a real person. This is a clown. This is someone who can probably use those long balloons to make puppies and giraffes, a snake when they're lazy, maybe a sword. They have a slide whistle. They left their red nose at home. This is why this one had a problem, was they left their big red nose at home. I don't understand what this is supposed to be. And it's not normal. It's just not normal. So Worcester, Massachusetts is going to be a, let's get the exact terminology down, a sanctuary city for transgender and gender diverse people. So everyone who falls into those categories should just move there. Just move there. Get out of normal society and go move there. Let's see what. So here is the. This is the city hall. The hearing on this. God, I couldn't imagine being on the city council. I guess they're liberals, so they eat this up. They think they're doing something good by having the. Do you think everybody came in one like yellow Volkswagen? All 75 people who testified came in one yellow Volkswagen. They all got out one at a time, like Ringling Brothers. You just can't. I just like. If you show up dressed like this and your name's not like Bozo, I mean, the white gloves and the wig, this looks like, you know, when the conservatives put on their stunts at city councils. I know that happens a lot here. They harass conservative city councils here in town way too much. But when conservatives show up with the clowny stuff and they put on their thing about, you know, whatever, they make some ridiculous thing up to yell at a city council. That's what this looks like. Here we go. I can't wait to hear exactly what Yonkers the clown has to say here.
I need the city to protect me because the federal government won't. And if you think
I think clowns have equal rights. I'm pretty certain they're allowed to still go on tour with the circus. Now they don't get to take the animals with them anymore. That was frowned upon. You know, they took animals out of the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey circus just a few years ago. But I think they have the same rights that they've always had. You can go and entertain people and honk noses and be in parades with your big floppy shoes.
you're afraid of Trump, you should see how afraid of Trump I am.
Look at her eyebrows. That's how afraid of Trump she is. His eyebrows are jumping through the ceiling. Yoinks. How afraid of Trump I am. Woo! I haven't been able to do a cartwheel in front of a school child in nearly a week.
Can you wrap up, please?
Yes, I can. If you say that you're afraid of Trump and that's why you don't want the city to be a safe space for trans people, you better prepare for trans people to make this a very unsafe space.
What does that mean? Wait, if you can't make it a safe space for trans people, be prepared for trans people to make it an unsafe space. That sounds like that clown is threatening the city council. We're taking the acrobats with us.
To make this a very unsafe space.
Like, does that mean they're going to come and like, you know what she is? You know, Batman Returns, Penguin showed up with a circus and they stole all the children. She's one of them. Batman Returns, my favorite Christmas movie. But that was the plot of it. A circus showed up to town. Penguin was in charge of it, and they stole all the children from Gotham, and Batman had to go get them. That's what she's threatening. I'm pretty certain she's representing the Penguin. They need to take a look at the city roster and see if there's an Oswald Cobblepot, because I think something's going on.
I'm shaking right now.
I'm not going to get this is going to be an hour and a half of me.
I'm already having such a hard time cutting the clips because there's so much to be said.
I'm shaking right now. This is if all these people were testifying here at the Worcester City Council in Massachusetts, who is left to make coffee at any Starbucks in the area?
I don't want to be here. I'm sorry, am I taking too long pleading for my life?
You remembered how
Oh, this is my favorite. Any of these purple hairs, by the way, literally a purple-haired old lady. This is all she has. This is the problem with society, are these purple-haired old ladies that watch The View.
you remembered how many children I have and that 2 of them are trans.
I'm glad this is supercut. I think ALX supercut this. God bless you, sir.
I speak as both the B and the T in the LGBT.
I'm multiply disabled. I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder that causes me immense physical pain. I'm on the autism spectrum, and I have narcolepsy, and I couldn't drive myself here, so I had to hide from my driver.
This clown is depressing.
That I was in drag, which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
Is that a wait? What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Hold on. I have questions. This sounds like a girl. And I'm not going to lie to you. If this is a man dressed as a woman, I will recognize it as a female clown. I'll give it that.
I think it is a biological female. Drag doesn't necessarily mean that you're cross-dressing. There are females that do drag as more of a performative
Is that what a
art.
chapel roan is?
Yes.
Fuck me.
It's like exactly.
Fuck me.
That's yes. She does drag, and she's a female to female drag.
Which is not an easy thing to do in drag.
I do not want to be here. It's my day off.
Nobody wants you
I don't know
here.
what that is.
This is I'm a man
That
because
voice
I've
is
made
higher than mine.
you did makeup. You're a pro makeup person, right?
Not
another,
like that.
In another life, you were a pro makeup person. This is like when you do like a skeletal thing.
No, I was gonna say like the shading on the temple, and that this is like when you do like character makeup, like when
This
people like
literally-
cosplay
so I was
a
gonna
specific
say-
character. You're not supposed to look like that in real
I was
life.
gonna say, this lady looks like a character from the new Beetlejuice, like in the dead people when they put too much makeup on them.
Mhm.
This looks like a character from the new Beetlejuice.
It's not enough to be a trans man. You have to be a trans dead man.
Yeah, Pat was chunky. I don't think this one's chunky, but it's a Pat. It is a Pat.
Can I come on video?
Why?
Because I want to react.
Is your camera on?
I can turn it on. It's off right now. I'm in.
You don't have a light on you.
That's fine. It's fine. Sorry,
You're really delayed.
I'll have to go. It's like that on both ends.
Okay.
Well, I can go off. It's fine. Just take me out.
No, I mean it just doesn't. You want to do it like that?
If I'm delayed, you can take me off.
Yeah, you're definitely delayed. Sorry. At least you're there.
It's like that with every guest you have, though, whenever someone comes in here.
Well, that sucks. But it's not like that with me. Look at my mouth. It matches the words. All right, here we go. You can talk, though. I'm happy to have you chat. It just looks bad when you're behind that far. Here we go.
Here. It's my day off. I do not.
Hold on. That mustache looks like it's taped on. Did you see the shine?
It's my day off. I do not.
Yes. Do you not see the mustache right there?
Yeah, it's very thin. It's not. It doesn't match the. Is that supposed to be a beard, or is that like supposed to be the shading of the jawline?
I think that is taped on beard.
Want to be in your DMs. I do not want to be in your email inboxes. I do not want my creativity writing diss tracks like Kendrick. I don't want to spend an hour applying glitter on my face so that you will hear and see me.
I mean, you don't have to.
Oh, so it's like an Edward Cullen thing
What is that?
from Twilight.
Oh.
He sparkles.
I I want you to listen to me.
Let us remember.
That's
How is that the most normal thing we've seen?
oh no, but he's probably on a list. He's on a government watch list, friend.
Remember that the Nazis burned the books that the Nazis burned books on gender sciences first.
Did they?
Now the administration has villainized and marginalized migrant workers, trans, LGBT people, and even
Shout out to ALX or whoever watched this whole thing and clipped this. I'm a minute 48 into 5 minutes and 14 seconds. And I don't know what's happening here, but it is not like I couldn't imagine having watched this the entire time. Says the principal of Billy Madison.
special needs, denying life-saving and affirming care.
Can you look at me and tell me how many of my friends need to die before you do anything?
Please wrap up.
Look at me!
All of them.
Okay, we're all done here.
Fucking pathetic!
No, we're all done. Come on.
Of course, we need to continue celebrating Black History Month because in spite of what's coming down from Washington, we all know that we all exist and we all need to be recognized for our existence.
She's the most normal of them all, and that's a sad statement.
Protect trans youth.
Yeah, I know, but she's still the most normal of them with the purple hair.
But be aware.
It's Minnie Mouse.
Minnie Mouse.
They
Aw.
recast her. They recast Minnie for the new Disney live action. Yeah.
That you are a guest in my house when you come. And when you come, know that there are strong queer and trans people.
Nobody's going to your fucking house.
What was did they send out like a dress code that everyone had to be in drag? Because these are like not normal get-ups. She has grapes in her hair.
Hey.
She has like fake table dressing grapes.
Well, they're probably real ones. She might want a snack.
In my classroom who will collect you with the quickness.
My name in drag is Dee Dee Delight. And my name out of drag is Dewey Cosgrove Atienza.
Stick with Dee Dee Delight. That's a
I
mouthful.
kind of like the. I like the other one. Look at this guy back here. He's having a
Oof.
time. He's going at it. They were out of meatballs at the meatball sub place that he likes going to.
Laddie LaRouge, he, they, in drag, District 3.
My legal name is Olivia D'Ambrosio. My public name is Livy Scanlon. My wife and I
you're
own
both
a home
public
in
now,
the
baby.
Canal District.
I speak as someone who...
Is that the It's Man?
That's the Joker, I think.
Oh.
That's
He does. He's got the voice and the look.
That's Joaquin
of-
Phoenix.
but it ends up apparently in the new one that he's not the Joker.
Joker 3.
He's not the Joker in Folly Ado.
No.
Someone else is.
Spoilers.
It's like going to the zoo. That's normal for all. The Revolting Blob was that guy's name earlier, by the way. Yeah, okay, here we go. This is Joaquin Phoenix.
was always misgendered like all the time.
I have a laughing problem, sir. Here's my card.
What do you mean was
People
in past
refer to
tense?
me as sir.
I think the real
Are you
problem
sure
is this
it's not
dude's
more
washer.
recent?
This dude's washer's broken. Like that is a.
That's
Okay,
a-
I've been
that's a
guilty of.
bleach stain.
I regularly am guilty of wearing the same clothes over and over again. But they don't look like that.
When I prefer to be referred to as ma'am. I speak as someone who is afraid to use public toilets.
Why? Well, I guess I'm afraid to use public toilets too. I have a thing where if I hear people talking, it just shuts the whole system down. People come in having a conversation. Worse when they walk to the bathroom with you. Like the conversation needs to continue past the bathroom door. I'm there to get it done, get things out of me. And I just shut down. I do have a fear of using public restrooms.
You can find common ground with anybody, I guess.
With It's Ma'am. Where is It's Ma'am? Is that It's Ma'am?
Maybe dead.
Remember
That's
that?
not- no,
They
that was
they
very
assaulted the
different looking
GameStop
person.
Was it really? That
Yeah.
different?
The only similarity is that it's a man and that one's not even in women's clothing. That just has long hair and a hat. Everything else is pretty masculine.
Okay. I just seems anyway. All right. Back in.
It's man
I
was in
speak
better shape.
as someone who was never.
Its man could have let himself go.
Well, could be.
After I wasn't served video games at GameStop.
That's how I
this
became the
community
Joker.
and is a queer person.
You have to imagine being me and my wife.
This is a Olympic skier.
No, it's that comic, Tig Notaro.
Is that Tig Notaro?
No.
Oh, see, I believed you. That could be Tig Notaro.
I'm good with it. When I'm on it, I'm on it.
But she's dressed like a skier. Very Vermont.
It's Worcester, Massachusetts. It's cold up there. You know, dress warmly.
Yeah.
You know?
Fearing that our marriage rights will be stripped away at any moment.
Really? Like, why would? Is
that the wife?
No, this is that thing from Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Please, I only have so much time. Please, Joe's gonna cut me off.
Which matters more? Covering the legal fees of systemic police brutality or protecting the lives of queer people in our community?
Police.
Not sure what gender that is. That can be a they them. I
Yeah.
accept they them as pronouns for that. The voice is
Whatever
confusing.
it is, it's Harry. Police, by the way, is more important.
How many lives have to be lost before you consider?
I mean, they really buy into this like trans genocide thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Like they act like they're in Palestine.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exist. But they really act like there's some sort of like, I don't even know when. Real talk. When's the last time a trans person has been killed for being trans? The 70s? The 80s?
I don't know.
And that person, turns out murder is still illegal. And that person who did it went to jail, I believe. That's why it was known.
Are fighting back against fascism and corruption.
Now is the time to say that if federal money relies on the dehumanization of trans people, that we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that some of you care more
Hold on.
about
Whoa. That man said he doesn't want their money. So, settled.
That we don't want your goddamn money.
I get that some of you care more about easy funding.
This guy's LARPing as Alexa Bliss.
Than trans lives, and don't mind Nazis for some whatever reason, but
Normally, I would say good evening, but through the chair, I will only impart my sour grapes.
Jesus Christ.
We got an answer on the grapes.
Jesus Christ.
We got the lore.
Like, say you actually had a legitimate claim that you were coming forward with. Say they actually wanted to listen to you. I guess they did, because now it's a safe zone or whatever for a sanctuary city for trans people. Like they're being threatened places. But say you had a legitimate concern and you showed up with a gimmick like that. You're done. Just done. Yeah, that's actually the truth now. It seems like they're more the perps instead of being a victim. Especially over the past couple of years.
It's an extremely emotional and taxing thing to stand up here as part of the trans and gender diverse community.
My name is Katie. I'm from District 5, and I'm speaking in support of agenda items 10B and 14B. Right now,
Wearing a mask, by the way. Hey, so if this trans... Hey, I'll pay attention.
I am. I'm literally watching you.
If this trans is still wearing a mask and none of the other ones are, is this one smarter than the other ones? Like, do the other ones look at this one and go like, oh, you're healthier than us? because
I
you're wearing
should
a
have
mask."
worn that.
Yeah, I should have gone with the mask thing. Like, what's the take on that? So does this one think that it's more... Does this fella think, or whatever it is, think it's more intelligent than the other people in the room? Or does he think everyone else in the room is sick? Or like again, like if you're in a pile of liberal filth and you're the only one wearing a mask, what's your take on that? Like, are you smarter than the rest of them? Does this one know something the other ones don't?
Now in our country, Trump is threatening the trans and gender diverse community.
Noticing people here are trying to control the rights of others, and that's not right. We should make Worcester a sanctuary city for trans people. Everybody deserves to feel...
Dude, it's really ridiculous when you roll your kid out to read
Yeah,
things.
this is
I
sad.
don't want to watch this kid read things. Actually, I'm going to skip over it. Because I think that's abuse. Okay, here we go.
You're singing Chapel Run.
Oh my gosh.
Did you hear that person? But again, So this city council went on to make it a sanctuary city for trans and whatever people. So he has bad teeth and bad. He has bad. I'd imagine bad teeth and bad breath is why they're covering their mouth. Is what you're saying there. He's wearing on the wrong end for monkeypox. If they're so bothered by these people there, why have they declared their town a trans sanctuary city? Does that make sense to you?
No.
Why do you cave? And it's never going to be enough, by the way. It's never enough. And that's really the problem with a lot of the stuff. It's never enough. Never, ever, ever enough. You start caving and then it just gets worse. Speaking of never enough. Here's a fun one. The Democrats today, forget that Joe Biden was in office for 4 years. Forget that Barack Obama was in office for 8 years. The Democrats today have decided that they need reparations again. Here's, is that Ayanna Pressley?
We can legislate justice. Amen. We can legislate healing. And we're certainly long overdue. And for those that would say we need to just get over it, that's interesting. When as a nation you are benefiting right now from an economy that was built on the brutalized backs and the indignities and the horrors of chattel slavery and our African ancestors.
I'm kind of tired of this. I'm incredibly tired of this. And where was this, by the way, during the Biden administration? Remember, didn't they promise at some point during the Biden administration that they were going to get reparations? Didn't they say that? Again, and if you're going after these people for, and there's tons of this, by the way. There was a big press conference today. Here is Summerlee. I just don't care about any of these people, but Summerlee saying that Donald Trump is not just a white supremacist, but he should also pay reparations. Again, like if you want to get free handouts from the government, probably the way to do it is not to insult the people who are in government. But again, why did they not ask Biden for this? Why are they doing it now? Biden's been out of office now. He was handing out money hand over fist to Ukraine, Africa, the Amazon, everything you can think of. He was handing out money. Why didn't they go for the reparations game?
Our government, no matter who is in power, has an obligation to right these wrongs, to provide reparations for descendants.
Okay, so it doesn't matter who's in power. Why didn't you ask Biden? I think that's pretty simple. That's a good question.
Of enslaved Africans to eliminate the racial wealth gap.
Also, why is it that America has to pay the reparations? The slave trade started in Africa. That's where everybody was rounded up, and then they were sold and put on ships before they were sold again over here. Why isn't it Africa that never has to pay? Why is it always America? Why don't they go to the root cause of the problem?
Uplift the black community. White supremacy is rampant in this country.
I didn't know that. Did you know white supremacy is going crazy, Al?
Look at the current administration and our own legislative body. They have contributed to the social and economic harms, to racial terror black folks have experienced in this country.
The racial terror that Donald Trump has caused in this country has apparently backfired, and people are so terrified that they've started voting for him in record numbers from different racial and ethnic backgrounds. That's weird. I thought it would be the opposite. This is my favorite one, by the way. I have never heard of Representative Watson Coleman before. Have you? I've never heard of this person before in my life. They've accomplished absolutely zero in Congress. Never heard of them. I need to see, how long is Watson Coleman? Bonnie Watson Coleman. She's 80 years old. She's a Democrat from New Jersey. When did she first win? She's been in office in Congress for 10 years. I've never heard of this person. But this one cracks me up, by the way. This quote really, this is crazy.
Black excellence scares Donald Trump. It scares Stephen Miller. And it scares Elon Musk. Because you know what? Deep down, they recognize their own mediocrity. And so they're doing everything they can to entrench the racial wealth gap.
Here's a clip you can't post. I dare you to, though. Give it to me, Al. If she was so excellent, why have I never heard of her before as a member of Congress? Also, if you're so excellent and you're so accomplished, Why would you have to whine about it on a national stage? Shouldn't people know? I certainly know, and I have seen excellent black people with black excellence. I've seen great human beings. Ben Carson, Clarence Thomas, Mia Love was a great member of Congress. Speaking of people who you could identify who were black, but like, again, these are people who don't go race forward. They're people who have just been excellent in their lives. You want to go actors? We can go Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, even though I don't agree with him politically. Hell, even I would say Whoopi Goldberg as a comedian and an actor. I hate to admit it. She's excellent. But when you have to whine about it, like you never see me saying I'm great publicly, not seriously. Because when you're actually excellent, you've actually accomplished things, you don't have to whine about it. Recognize me. No, I have no idea who the hell Watson Coleman was until literally today, and she's been a member of Congress for 10 years. That is the opposite of excellent. If you were good at your job, Thomas Sowell, there we go, there's another one. It's unbelievable, the amount of damage and violence black people have caused. They need to pay reparations. Listen, you take a look at what's happened in Chicago and a lot of these areas that have been destroyed. I mean, again, this is, and where should the reparations come from? Let's be real here. Where should the reparations come from? Who originally sold people into the slave trade? Oh, was it Africans? Were they white? No, they weren't. Was slavery bad? Yeah, of course it was. But if you're going to ask for reparations, you need to ask the OGs of who started the slave trade, not America, and certainly not America now. Most of us, not Al's family, because she's been here for 15 generations, weren't they? What boat did they come? Were they Mayflower people?
10 years after the Mayflower.
So they were on one of the unknown boats afterwards?
Yes. I guess.
They were on Mayflower.
I think they were pretty poor, though, so I don't think that
my family
they
was
had
poor.
slaves.
We have the chest. In the early 1900s, we have the chest that my parents, my great-great-grandparents were afforded one chest to bring with them for the family on the boat that they immigrated on. We didn't have anything to do with slave trade, so why should my tax dollars go to pay off any kind of slave trade? There is no, I mean, we're beyond this. We're beyond this. This is a dog whistle to try to get people to vote for Democrats that, we don't recognize. I mean, it is so silly that they're saying we don't recognize black people for their achievements, especially when you're an unachieving backbencher who's been in Congress for 10 years and nobody knows who you are other than basically in your district where they're not paying attention and voting you in over and over again. We recognize and have, over and over again, sports, acting, everything, innovation, like black people, there has not been a divide in this country other than when Barack Obama started to run for president. Again, he won for such a racist country that he won. But we didn't talk about it. We just recognized everyone as American with American exceptionalism and American success. This wasn't something, there wasn't a divide by race when we talked about people being successful. I mean, God, half of probably everyone's playlists are African Americans or black people, like on Spotify. Like our entire culture, we all integrated our culture years ago. And to say that people aren't recognized and to say that people are afraid of excellence from a certain race is such a joke at this point. Because we're all equal, because we all live together, because we all have just a combined American culture. So this is just getting ridiculous. They want more handouts for people because that's the only way the Democrats can win elections is with handouts. That's what they believe. And it worked before, but it's not working anymore. It's just, this is ridiculous. It's insulting. It's insulting to your intelligence, and I think everyone's woken up to it now. That's right. The Peanut Man, George Washington Carver. I can just I actually did there was a song I think we sang back in the day in elementary school about George Washington Carver. But I guess, who am I? Just a white guy that apparently is afraid of black excellence, whatever. Again, just dividing us as much as they can. Democrats just dividing us as much as they can. And it's just getting old. It's getting old. I think everyone's over it. Kind of like where Democrats are going with things. Here's who is this? Here's another guy that I've never seen in my life, by the way, in Congress. Representative Garcia. Have you ever heard of Representative Garcia, Alex?
No.
Here's this is their new thing. Their new thing with Elon Musk is they call him a dick. That's all they've got now is they call Elon Musk a dick. Here we go. This is Representative Garcia. Whatever.
I find it ironic, of course, that our chairwoman, Congresswoman Green, is in charge of running this committee. Now, in the last Congress, Chairwoman Green literally showed a dick pic in our oversight congressional hearing, so I thought I'd bring one as well. Now, this, of course, we know is President Elon Musk. He's also the world's richest man. He was the biggest political donor in the last election. I find it
I'm surprised that they picked such a good picture. Because he looks fine there. I would have picked a worse picture. If I was going to... Oh, you can't see it.
Back.
Yeah. There you go. It's a good picture. But I love that this is their new thing because Anderson Cooper said something about don't be a dick the other day on a show. They're freaking out because they're losing. And this is all they have. They're literally in a Doge subcommittee. They're literally in a committee hearing that is cutting fraud, waste, and abuse from the federal government. And all Democrats have to do is scream, he's a dick. It literally, again, this makes no sense to me. This is what they're reduced to. It's kind of pathetic. At this point, it's pathetic. I'm trying to repost this. If you guys are liking this conversation, make sure you hit the retweet button and get involved with it. Also, if you go visit Kalshi.com/Tim Young, it's a good place to go. They were right about the Super Bowl the other day. It was Kalshi. It flipped real quick when the Eagles started taking over, and suddenly it went to a 76% chance that the Eagles were going to win by halftime. Predictive markets are the way to go, so you can do that. Also, if you vote with your dollars and you don't want to give money to people that hate you, make sure you go to VeebsApp.com. You can scan UPC symbols when you go to supermarkets, and you can see exactly how liberal or conservative certain products are, and we give you alternatives to those products so that you can go give your money to conservative companies as opposed to liberal companies who hate you. So here is, let's go to... I thought this was a good one today. Pete Hegseth says there will never be U.S. troops in Ukraine, and Ukraine's never going to be a part of NATO. This is fun.
The United States does not believe that NATO membership for Ukraine is a realistic outcome of a negotiated settlement. Instead, any security guarantee must be backed by capable European and non-European troops. If these troops are deployed as peacekeepers to Ukraine at any point, they should be deployed as part of a non-NATO mission, and they should not be covered under Article 5. There also must be robust international oversight of the line of contact. To be clear, as part of any security guarantee, there will not be U.S. troops deployed to Ukraine.
There you go. Remember the left was screaming over and over again that they were going to send your uncles and your brothers and your cousins and your nephews to Ukraine. That was a quote at one point. Was it from somebody at the Defense Department said that at one point under Biden? Well, it's not going to happen now. We're not starting World War III. We're not getting involved. That's exactly where we need to be. America first. That's what America first policies look like. Also, America first policies today. Our friend Caroline Leavitt, Alex, at the White House. She's pressed by our not friend, Caitlin Collins, who hates my guts, famously. Today asked about why the AP was banned from, by the way, the AP, the Associated Press, the only news organization and the only basic organization that is continuing to not call the Gulf of Mexico now the Gulf of America, as Trump has renamed it. Everything else is shifted. But they've decided for some reason to not call it the Gulf of America, and so the White House decided to disinvite them.
Reserve the right to decide who gets to go into the Oval Office, and you all have credentials to be here, including the Associated Press, who is in this briefing room today.
But isn't it retaliatory in nature is the argument, because the reason that the AP was barred, which they said was because they're not using the phrase Gulf.
Caitlin looks like an old hag now. She's aging poorly.
of America, they're using Gulf of Mexico in line with their standards. And so the question here is this setting a precedent that this White House will retaliate against reporters who don't use the language that you guys believe reporters should use? And how does that align with the First Amendment commitment that you were just talking about?
I was very upfront in my briefing on day one.
By the way, I want to just say this. They're saying it's a violation of the First Amendment that the Associated Press isn't there. How many goddamn reporters do you need in the room? Number one, there's a live feed to all of America. The Trump administration is as transparent as Biden claimed he was going to be in his first term. You have what, 75 people in that room? There's not a lot of room. There's not a lot of space in that room. How many reporters do you need? How many organizations do you need? It's not a violation of the First Amendment that you block one set of reporters. Biden blocked conservatives just for being conservative. They would keep them out of that room.
But also the First Amendment is just protecting your right to free speech. They're not taking away their right to free speech. They're just taking them out of the room, which they also have the right to do.
Correct.
Up front in my briefing on day one, that if we feel that there are lies being pushed by outlets in this room, we are going to hold those lies accountable. And it is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America. And I'm not sure why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is. The Secretary of Interior has made that the official designation, and the
So they don't want to call it the Gulf of America because they hate Trump. That's it. That's all. That's the only reason that they don't want to call it the Gulf of America. But again, they're not stopping. Like literally, the White House has not stopped the AP from writing their lies. They can say all they want. You're right, Al. It's not a violation of the First Amendment that the AP isn't allowed in the press poll room. They can also just watch the show from TV like most outlets do. Watch the press conference from TV and report on it that way. That's all they were going to do anyway. Ask some sort of biased question that will probably be asked by anybody else in that room. There's enough leftists there. But how many people do you need in the press room? Seriously, how many people do you need there? They're all like they're piled into the aisle as well. There's not enough seats. And how much coverage do you need? Most of these people just literally. Most of these people don't even ask a question. They just go in and sit. And then the same people who would write up the story about the White House would write up the story about the White House. Most of journalism today is just people watching things on camera or watching things on TV and writing about it. And that's what most of these people do. They're just there to observe and be like, I have press credentials and I was there. Stupid. This is stupid. All right, this is my favorite of the day. Not just Caroline Leavitt, but here's Chuck Schumer complaining about Doge. Here, Democrats really don't want to cut the budget. They really are worried about their actually, yeah, nick it off. Hey, Tim, most of the press is worthless anyway. Yeah, it is. It is. As a member of the media, I will say that. And yes, today's catchphrase is constitutional crisis. I should have done the Pee-wee's Playhouse thing where we scream every time somebody says it. But that would get really, really annoying. But let's take a look at this because here's Chuck Schumer, by the way. Democrats really upset that Doge is cutting the budget, that Doge is finding fraud, waste, and abuse and chopping it. And so it's a weird thing to say because you would think that every government official would want this government to be more efficient and would want less taxpayer money wasted on nonsense projects. But Democrats don't. That's what's caused the constitutional crisis. But also, here's Chuck Schumer trying to justify why they're upset about Doge.
The bottom line is simple. Everyone knows there's waste in government and should be cut, but
hold on. Everyone knows there's waste in government and should be cut. Period.
The bottom line is simple. Everyone knows there's waste in government and should be cut.
Correct. Stop right there. You're correct. So what's the problem, Chuck Schumer? Oh, hold on.
But Doge is using a meat axe. And they're cutting things that are efficient and effective. I was in Albany and Syracuse on Monday talking at community health centers. Many of them have had...
Healthcare has not been cut. Period. It is a lie that healthcare has been cut.
Their funds cut temporarily. Some even hasn't been restored yet. And
that is a lie. That has been a proven lie.
Most efficient healthcare providers around. Take AID. Maybe there's some programs they don't like.
Maybe there's some programs they don't like at USAID. Maybe we're funding trans operas and DEI musicals and Sesame Street for some reason to the tune of $20 million in Iraq.
But most people agree that PEPFAR was extremely effective and cost effective. most people would want to see.
I wonder how much. What is Chuck Schumer's net worth? I should just have that up on the screen. That's not accurate. According to Lawyers Club India, which is not accurate, it says he's worth $81 million. Then another website says in 2015 he was worth $1 million. Let's see here. Mitch McConnell, Chuck Schumer. It needs to be pretty clear, and I can't believe that there isn't, like, I don't know if it's on Open Secrets or what, but there needs to be clarity on how much all these people are worth, because they're worth millions. They're worth millions. And I guarantee there are kickbacks, if not to him directly, then to members of his family or his close friends. That's how this works. So if the member is upset about a program, typically what it means is somebody that's either related to them or them directly, but usually their wife or their son or their daughter or whoever, they're the ones getting the kickback. It's coming back one way or the other.
Let's continue our fight in Central Africa against Ebola so it doesn't come here. And so the bottom line is very simple. Okay, if you want to make cuts, then you do it through a debate in Congress.
No. If you want to make cuts, you don't debate it in Congress. If you're in the executive branch and you run the executive branch, you can make cuts to the executive branch. You don't have to go to Congress. Congress can okay money, but the executive doesn't have to spend it. They can actually save the money and send it back for other programs. They're not ordered to spend money. You can okay the money, but the executive ultimately knows whether or not, or decides whether or not they spend it. If you like the show so far, hit the retweet button. We're going to stick around for a couple more minutes here. I have been feeling kind of miserable today, but that trans video really got me. That was fun.
Not lawlessly by just implementing it.
It's not lawless, by the way. It is not lawless, and that's what's very interesting about this claim that there's a constitutional crisis. It is not lawless for the executive to cut the spending of the executive branch. Now, it would be lawless as if the executive branch came into Congress and said, hey, Chuck Schumer, you get no more budget for your staff. You have to let them all go now or they can work for free. That's lawless. Reaching into another department, or another branch of government, rather, and taking their money away, that's lawless. It is a check and balance of the federal government. You wouldn't know that with the GOP House in the last term under Biden, where they could have used the power of the purse to defund things and hold back money. But it is absolutely up to the executive branch whether or not they spend the money that's given to them. Period. It's ridiculous. All right, well, guys, if you want to see some fun stuff, earlier in the show, we went through this a couple of crazy things, including this trans video that I think is absolutely insane. I would recommend you go back and take a look at it. I am not feeling that great today, so we're going to cut it early a little bit. I would usually do 90 minutes, and we will probably be back tomorrow during the day before we go to this Titanic exhibit. I'm kind of excited to go see tomorrow night here in Dallas. We're going to go see the Titanic. What an exciting time, the Titanic exhibit. But if you guys like the show, make sure you hit the retweet button, like, share, subscribe. You know the whole thing. Go visit Kalshi.com/Tim Young if you want to go take a look at what they're working on tonight. And also, don't forget VeebsApp.com, CEO of the company. If you spend, don't give your money to people who hate you. Make sure you give your money to conservatives. And the best way to do that is using our app, the Veebs app, VeebsApp.com. You can see the spelling right there. And right there, in case you have trouble with it. No, there you go. Make sure you go and check out the Veebs app. You can go scan the UPC codes of all of the products that you use, see if they're liberal or conservative. And if they are too liberal, you can actually, we will give you alternatives of products that you can go get that are conservative. Thanks, Nick It Off. I don't know what happened, but I felt like I got hit by a pile of bricks before I came on here. So I'll be back with more energy tomorrow night or tomorrow day during the day. And then we'll see you soon.